One of our top stories where the EFF has laid perjury charges against the police. And, well, this is against the police minister who's on special leave, specifically the former chief of staff, Cedrick Nkabinde, for providing what they say is inaccurate information in his statement. Members of Parliament slamming Nkabinde over what they termed, quote-unquote, poor quality evidence, detailing some of the activities within the police ministry. Legal analyst Mpulelelo Zikalala joining me now for a quick conversation, Mr. Zikalala, on very, very pointed questions. The charge of perjury, if convicted, can you be sent to jail? If not, how much do you stand to lose?
Yes, you can be sent to jail. Good evening to you and also good evening to your viewers. You can be sent to jail and you can also be fined. Let me remind you of our former minister, Ms. Mpulelelo Zikalala, who was sentenced either to 2 years imprisonment or fined, and was fined 200,000 rands. So it's quite a serious crime. It's quite a serious sentence in which you can be able to get. And it depends upon the magistrate and the magnitude of how much you've perjured yourself as to what sentence you are going to receive.
The consequences of lying to Parliament. I know that we're talking about perjury here. There is also the element of Parliament now that are saying they are consulting their legal minds within the institution to understand what the consequences could be for lying in Parliament. Is that part and parcel of this perjury charge?
Yes, it's part and parcel. Remember that when it comes to Parliament, it's the parliamentarians that usually that particular crime would apply more to them when it comes to Parliament and its parliamentary rules. For us, general members of the public, it's perjury that is there. Remember, when you go to Parliament, you are placed under oath. The minute that happens, anything that you say which is a lie, the perjury charges will then follow. So they may be able to consult and maybe get if there's any legislation which is applicable to anyone who lies in Parliament. But for us as members of the public and as a general rule, there is that common law crime of perjury in which if you lie under oath, you are going to be charged with it and the legal process will follow, either imprisonment or a fine or both.
Mr. Nkabinde could well be facing criminal charges given that the EFF has gone to a police station to open a case against him. Well, I guess he will have to hear from the prosecuting authority, therefore, as to what could follow. In terms of his defense, he says devices were taken away from him by the police, and that's why he could not provide exact dates, and he was giving estimates. He does concede that this is actually very bad for him. It doesn't look good. Does he have a defense, and could he get away with it just based on this element that his devices were taken away and he had no reference point, therefore?
Remember that on a technical basis, he has provided evidence on 2 platforms. One is an affidavit which is written. So you've already attested on it, and there's a commissioner's signature, I would presume, that says anything which is written on that affidavit is the truth and nothing but the truth. Parliamentarians relied on it when they were going through and preparing for this day. So if you're going to say something which is contrary to that, that means you've already perjured yourself. When it comes to viva voce evidence that he was giving today, he may have a point, he may have a defense there. In fact, he's going to say, when I was placed under oath and providing my evidence, I spoke the truth. I did not wait up until my evidence was done and dusted, and only maybe 2 or 3 days later came and tried to amend or give different dates. I explained it on that day, and which is why the testimony did not go through, or I wasn't able to finish my testimony. So he may have a defense there. So it would depend on the prosecution, which one do they want to rely on? Are they going to say we are sticking to what you've written down, or we are going to go by the viva voce evidence that you gave earlier? But if it's viva voce, he may have a defense to say, actually, I spoke the truth. I came to Parliament and I told them these are deficiencies that are there, and I did not mislead or try to provide certain dates which were incorrect. Yes, it may have been raised by a member of Parliament when they were quizzing me, but in terms of answering the question most truthfully, as I promised to do when we started the proceedings, that's exactly what I did.
Mpulelelo Zikalala, always a pleasure talking to you, explaining the legalese to us, making it sound so simple. Thank you very much for your time.